Hey everyone, how is everybody enjoying their weekend? It's been a fun ride for sure. I don't know if it's been a good ride, but it's definitely down to the downside on everything for miners for the last 7 days. Bitcoin itself. So we got a lot to talk about. We'll talk about obviously what's going on with the markets a little bit here. We'll talk about Bitcoin, the miners. We'll talk about also Cipher, Cleanspark, Hive, providing their July updates. We'll look at that. We'll look at where the miners are right now in after hours or pre-hours, I guess you could say. So we got a lot to go through here. It's uh, there's a lot of panic and a lot of fear, which is understandable. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it as well, but we'll get through it all. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. My full disclosure for you guys down here. And then if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin, just really quick in the miners, and then we'll get into everything else that we do have here. So where's my screen? There it is. Okay. So Bitcoin has been trading downwards the last 7 days out of 8, it looks like. Once we reached 70,000 on Bitcoin here, this was back on Monday of last week. So we are now into Monday time frame here on the new Bitcoin candle here. So it's been 8 days. We've had 7 days in the red here. It null and voided my wedge here that I drew. I thought maybe we would stay above it, but just the news that has been coming out here with the unemployment, all that stuff, is having a huge impact not only on Bitcoin, but the stock market itself. We'll see where the market opens up tomorrow. But yeah, it hasn't been a great week for us. We had a great, 2 weeks here prior, and then we just last week, things went cascading downwards on us. Have we peaked? I don't think we have peaked yet. I think this is top of the FOMO, not FOMO, I would say this is top of the fear. Fear that you can get to right now in the markets and Bitcoin in general. And there's a lot of fear, which is understandable. Bitcoin crashing down, going even lower than where it's been before. And I mean, it went down to, we had a wick down to a low of 52,405 today before it reversed its course. If we look at the RSI here, RSI is at the same spot that we were probably, it's a 27 here roughly. We were close to that back here. Price at that point was higher. We were at 57,000. We are right now at 54,000. That's typically not a good sign here. We'll see if we can get that reversed here on the 1 hour chart. We can see that Bitcoin has also, kind of bottomed out here on the RSI side of things. So it's way oversold right now. But that doesn't mean that we can't go down even further, because you can see here, RSI was here at 19. Price at that point was at 57,000. We were at 19 here as well. And price at that point closed at 54,000. So you can still have that continuation happening here. Excuse me. As Bitcoin RSI goes up, price may not go up as much, and then we might have another fall downwards. So keep an eye on this. I look at this as a possibly buying opportunity. So I did buy on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Was it Thursday or Friday? I can't remember now. One of those 2 days I bought $1,000 worth of Bitfarms, $1,000 worth of IREN as well, because things have been just coming down here. It looks like I'm going to have to buy some more tomorrow as well. And those are the two that I'm looking into. Every other miner here, if we look at it here, and thank you to Penny Ether for providing this. I'm not sure where he got this, but this is the pre-market hour or pre-market trading on all these guys here. You can see the Mara is down 14%, Cleanspark is down 14%, Riot is down 12%, IREN is down 16%. We got CORZ being down 9%, Cipher down 16%, Wolf down 11%, Hut 8 almost 9%, BitD almost 9%, Bitfarms down 10.5%, Hive surprisingly only down being 2%, almost 2.3% roughly, and then Bit Digital being down 16% as well. So there's going to be a lot of blood in the markets tomorrow morning potentially when they open up. So with that, I am looking to possibly buy some more because it's just a buying opportunity right now, I think. Now, with the jobs report, everything else, and just a lot of fear in the market itself, in the economy itself, I don't know that we're heading for a recession just yet. I could be wrong on this. I was thinking if the recession was going to happen, it's going to happen sometime in possibly 2025, because we do have the presidential elections this year. The Fed's probably going to lower rates here coming up in September. They probably should have lowered rates already when they had the meeting last week. They didn't, so they're a little bit behind maybe on that. And we'll see how aggressively they lower rates depending on how the economy does, the jobs, all that data that they do have on it. It's always looking in the rearview mirror for them because they're looking at data that's at least a couple weeks old, but it's not that bad. We'll see where things end up on that one. And then a closely tracked recession indicator, the Sahm rule, has not been triggered. Here's what that means. So I found this article which I thought was interesting. And thank you to a Patreon member and a member on Discord as well. Doesn't have a handle. All he goes by is this little goat icon. So we'll call him the goat. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but I love the communication that we have with him, or at least the communication that I have with him on there, because he or she does make me think a lot, and I greatly appreciate that. And they're asking the right questions, I think. So thank you for pointing this out to me. I was not aware of the Sahm rule before, but here's what we have. So the Sahm rule got triggered. So what does that mean for us? But here's what it says. But the data that is used to make recession calls suggests the economy is still expanding. So that's an interesting point there. So let's take a look at what it says here. Let's see. A recession indicator widely followed on Wall Street was just triggered by the July jobs report, but the person who created it doesn't think the U.S. economy actually is in a recession right now. And Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said the indicator doesn't carry any particular significance. So that's interesting there, right? So first, the data with the unemployment rate reaching 4.3% in July. The 3-month moving average on the unemployment rate is at least 0.5% points above the minimum of the 3-month averages for the previous 12 months. The Sahm rule states that reaching the 0.5 level means that there's a recession. Okay, so what does that tell us here? So here's historical data on it. So going all the way back to 1953, the Sahm rule got triggered here in July, and then we had a recession in November. So basically 4 months out prior to that. In 1957, we had it 2 months prior. In 1959, we had it 5 months prior, or 5 months later. Got triggered here. 1970, 3 months prior. 1974, 8 months prior. 1980, 1 month prior. 1981, 4 months prior. 1990, 3 months prior. 2001, 3 months prior. 2008, 2 months prior. And then 2020, 2 months prior. So there is some, I guess you could say, historical data to this. It can lag sometimes on the time frame of it. Sometimes it's a little late as well. It was 5 months later that it actually happened. So how much weight can you actually put into it? Well, Sahm herself told the Wall Street Journal that she actually doesn't think the economy is in a recession. Changes in labor supply after the pandemic and the recent jump in immigration has diminished its usefulness, she says. So that's interesting. Should we be putting a lot more weight into this or a lot less weight into it? Based on what she herself is saying, is probably should be putting a lot less weight into it. That said, she's worried about the direction of the U.S. economy, and Sahm had stated ahead of Wednesday's Fed decision that the central bank should cut interest rates, which I also think, with the way that the inflation numbers have been coming down, which has been a good sign here, they should start probably slowly dialing those interest rates down. But they decided to wait until September, so we'll have to wait until then. Data that has come out over the 2 days after the Fed meeting suggests the central bank should have listened, as evidenced not just by the rise in the unemployment rate, but also by other indicators such as fall in the ISM Manufacturing Activity Index and the rise in the first-time jobless benefit claims. So, yeah, I think they should have probably done it just to go, 25 basis points, not a big jump there. Powell commented about it as well. He said that the Sahm rule was a statistical regularity. It's not like an economic rule where it's telling you something must happen. Powell added, it looks like a normalizing labor market right now. And if you look at the labor market in general itself, we have been pretty low on the labor market numbers. I think if you take that and look into it over the last 30 years, the average or something like that, we're probably still below that. But I'm no economist on that, so do your own research on it as well. But I thought this was just interesting on it, how they're viewing it. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell where we're going to go in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, let alone a year out. Typically, when we have a recession, it's usually, 2 months of negative GDP. We don't have that yet. There's other parts that play into it as well. Increase in the number of unemployment, right? That usually plays into it. Other things as well as spending on consumers. We've seen a decrease in spending on that as well. Could that be also because, well, a lot of people were maybe buying tickets for vacations months prior to it, right? Now that we're going through the summer, almost towards the end of the summer, you're not seeing that kind of spending happening now. People are also probably planning for doing things, whether it's outside, doing stuff to their houses, whatever it might be, whatever, right? So it could be a leading indicator on that side of things as well when it comes to consumer spending on it. But yeah, miners, on the other hand, here had a pretty bad day on Friday also. We didn't cover them on Friday because I didn't do a video on Friday. So we're kind of catching up a little bit here. But you can see a lot of the miners were in the red here. And we'll see where things go, really. I mean, I don't know where things are going to end up, like I said, in the next couple of weeks, let alone next year. I don't think, my original thought that was that if we're going to be in a recession, was going to be on sometime not until 2025, maybe into 2026. But we'll see, right? I mean, if you're in profit right now and you're in fear mode, there's no shame in taking profits. If you're in profit, be in profit right now. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average in. I could be way wrong on this. I'm hoping that I'm not. I have, several $1,000s invested in this, so larger portion than that, but it's not millions of dollars. So we saw Warren Buffett selling, right, a lot of his positions, but he's got billions of dollars that he's invested in. So he doesn't need much. He doesn't need stocks going up 5, 10x for him to make a sizable return on it. All he needs is stocks to go like 10, 20% up, and he's doing really good. I mean, based on $1 billion, just invest $1 billion, you get 10% on it, you're up 100 million. I mean, that is a sizable return on your investment. So I can't fault the guy for buying or selling right now. And what he's probably going to end up doing is actually going to be buying later on when things really do jump down even more, and he sees things that have kind of calmed down a little bit. That's kind of the way Buffett works. He rides these kind of waves. He's greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. So people were greedy. That's why he's probably selling a little bit here, and then he's waiting for people to be fearful again for him to be greedy going forward. But yeah, that is it. We'll get into your guys' Q&A side of things as well, see what you guys think of that, if you guys have any thoughts or anything like that. But that's kind of what I wanted to go with. I'm still pretty optimistic on our future here. That might change if we start seeing a negative GDP here coming in a quarter or something like that. But right now, I'm still pretty optimistic on the path forward here. So we'll see. All right. So we'll leave it at that, and then we'll get into the Bitcoin mining news stocks that we do have here, which the first one is going to be on Cipher here. So Cipher Mining announces July 2024 operational update. And yes, I'm going through the individual mining companies' websites because Yahoo is blocking any mining company that reports on Bitcoin. It's just crazy through press releases. So now I have to go through every single one of them. If I do miss one, please let me know. I'm trying to track them as best as I can. I got to go through every single website now to get the information on them. So if I do miss something, please let me know. But here's what we got on Cipher right now. Cipher mined 178. It does include approximately 9 Bitcoin that was through power sales estimates, roughly. And they also have joint ventures that they're working with. That's a part of that as well. They sold 108 Bitcoin here. Bitcoin held increased to 2,270 right now. And their month-end operating hash rate is at 8.7. So that did actually increase here for July, which is good to see there. And that is basically it for their update. It's pretty short, sweet, and to the point, which I like. So let's take a look at Cipher here, what I have for their numbers here. We'll get into Cleanspark and Hive as well next. So Cipher has about 284 million shares. We should get an update from them once they report their Q2 numbers. We'll see what the number of shares outstanding is at that point. Market cap is about 1.5 billion. They've had a pretty good run here in the last 12 weeks. They're up 40% from 12 weeks ago, up 56% from 8 weeks ago. From 4 weeks ago, they're up 40.2%, and then last week they were up 24.36%. So this week, I haven't done the numbers yet on Bitcoin versus the miners here. We'll do that tomorrow, probably in tomorrow's video. But I'm guessing the miners are going to be down sizably. We'll see how many perform Bitcoin compared to Bitcoin. But they're at 8.7 here. This is their self-mining, I believe. We'll have to look at the numbers down below. And the future hash rate is about 3.8. They have still quite a bit of growth here, which is nice to see. self-mine BTC. So this is what I'm calculating. It's estimated. I'm not sure if this is exact numbers, but this is what I'm figuring out based on the percentage of the joint venture that they have and what they actually mined here. So I got them at 157.4 on that one. So there was a slight increase here. We've seen that increase here since May, which May was a big drop for a lot of them after April's halving event, but it is increasing here. So that's nice to see there. Revenue also kind of up and down here. It's back to where it was in May, 9.63 million. June was a pretty good month for them, 10.01 million, sorry. BTC HODL has also been increasing here, which is nice to see. On that one, total hash rate, like I said, a little bit of an increase here to 8.7 from 8.6. Bitcoin sold, they sold a little bit more here. They've been selling, each month a little bit more here. They were at 57 in May, 103 in June, 117 in July here. Going down here to BTC per exahash efficiency, they're at 20.3 right now. A little bit of an improvement there. I think that's based on the difficulty decreasing, which made it more efficient there, which was, I'm seeing that in a lot of the miners here that have reported already. Bitcoin sold value, how much they sold of that. Going down here to institutions. Institutions did increase to 198. Shares also increased to 61.3 million. Percentage owned by institutions is now 20.12. We now have 2 strong buy ratings, 5 buy ratings, so that's an increase there of one hold rating. Price target stayed the same at $9 for the high, $6.74. That increased a little bit for the average, and 5 for the low stayed the same here on them. As far as what they mined here in July, we have a mining at 28.64 days. I did take out some of the older miners here, the 88 terahash miners. I'm thinking probably nobody's going to be really running these things anymore. They could be, but I just took them out, and I added more of these 200 terahash miners that they have purchased to get to the 8.7, which they reported. And then when I also gave them about 252,000 in Bitcoin transaction fees on that one. And that got us to a revenue of, let me see here, 9.6 million for the self-mining combined with the Alvarez Bear and Chief facilities, which are joint ventures, at 10.9 million, which got us to the 10 where is it at? Should have been 11.16. Did I do something wrong here? Maybe I did do something wrong here. 11. Yeah, it should have been up. Okay, I'll have to get that fixed. I just noticed that. I'd like to get 10.9. 11.168. Yeah, it should have been 11.68. Oh, because I think of the power credits. That's why. Okay. Going up over here, I have in between right now for the last 3 quarters in the current quarter that we're in, which was the end of June. They haven't provided the July numbers yet, so I'll get that updated here. We could possibly do that. So we'll have 2 quarters that are final and 2 quarters that are estimated right now. So let's take a look at it here. The current quarter would be this quarter that we're in right now. And then the 3 prior quarters will have 2 quarters that are actual and 1 quarter that's estimated. So last quarter is estimated. The prior 3 quarters are, or 2 quarters are final, are accurate. And I have in between 524 and 786. They're slightly undervalued here right now, but with where are they going to be at? Let's see here. Overnight, Cipher was down to 361 here. Looks like. So I need to update my numbers on that as well. So they are definitely undervalued from where they should be, as well are the other miners as well. Going forward, the next 12 months, if we look at July numbers for them for revenue, multiplying it times 12, we get them between 390 and 585. They're still looking at that point. They're looking like they're pretty fairly valued on it. All right. So that's it for Cipher. Let's take a look at Cleanspark. So if we look at Cleanspark here, Cleanspark also on their website, Cleanspark releases July 2024 Bitcoin mining update. Wow, this scrolls really fast. July Bitcoin mining update unaudited. So Bitcoin mined was 494. Nice increase from June here. Total Bitcoin holdings also increased to 7,082. Also nice increase there. Month-end operating hash rate to 21.2. So they did install quite a bit of hash rate there in July as well, which is nice to see. All right, growth update. Tennessee co-location hashing in Tennessee per the terms of the company's acquisition agreements with Grid has begun. So that's good. Under the co-location agreement, approximately 50 megawatts of power is currently available, 1 exahash of which was operational at month end, with an additional 1.2 exahash expected to begin hashing by the end of the current week. So this was, I think, when did they report this? I think they reported this. Does it have a date on here? August 2nd. So I don't know if it was last week. No, that would have been, Friday? So I'm guessing maybe this week. Okay, so that's good news there. Wyoming closings. Power agreements for 75 megawatts have been executed, and the company has closed on its first Bitcoin mining site in the state. The initial 30 megawatt site will be immersion cooled, so that's interesting there, and is expected to add approximately 2 exahash to Cleanspark hash rate before the end of the year. The company expects to proceed with the closing of the second site in the coming weeks as well, so that's good news as well. Dalton expansion, electrical primary installation is currently ongoing. The east building is completed and electrical shelving is being installed. Construction of the west building is underway. The 50 megawatt expansion is expected to be hashing by early September 2024, leading to an increase of approximately 0.9 exahash upon completion. So that's great to see that we have continued increases in hash rate. That's really what we want to see here going forward. And they need to do that because they want to get to 32 exahash by the end of the year. They're saying here we're continuing our trajectory of growth as we progress towards our target of 32 exahash by the end of the year. So that's all good news there. Let's take a look at Cleanspark here. So Cleanspark has had, you could say, lackluster performance here. It's in the green in the last 12 weeks, but it's been lackluster compared to some of the other miners. They currently have about 227 million shares outstanding. Performance over the last 12 weeks has been, like I said, lackluster. 6% from 12 weeks ago, 6.5% from 8 weeks ago. 4 weeks, they were up 7.3%, and then last week they were up 8%. Still up, so that's a good sign there. Current hash rate 21.2 exahash. Future hash rate about 50 exahash. That's probably going to happen in next year sometime. We'll get to that number. Bitcoin HODL is 7,082. That's valued about 444 million. With the latest Bitcoin price, it's probably down to like 400 million right now. We'll see where that comes in at. And then their BTC production here has been increasing ever since May, which is good. That means that growth is happening. Like seeing that nicely here, growth. Monthly revenue here has also been increasing, so that's good. They bottomed out at 27.19 million in May. They're at 31 million now. Nice 4 million increase on that one. BTC HODL, ever since July of last year, 1,000 Bitcoin at that point, and they are at 7,082 right now. Huge growth in their HODL position right now, but it is at the cost of dilution to the shareholders. But as long as you see it as accretive, right, because they're growing tremendously and they're increasing their HODL, if Bitcoin goes up 2x, 3x, that's definitely going to be worth it here, I think. All right, hash rate growth also. Really good hash rate growth here from where we were. They doubled their hash rate from July of last year. They were at 9 exahash. They're at 21.2 exahash right now. Bitcoin sold here. You can see that they've been pretty much the last 6-7 months or so selling barely anything of their Bitcoin's HODL or production there. BTC per exahash efficiency has also increased here, which is nice to see. And then going down here, institutions. Institutions did increase to 343. Shares also increased to 110.6 million. Percentage actually went down, 48.19. That leads me to believe there was dilution happening at that point. So the share number will be higher from where it is right now. We still have 2 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 1 hold rating. Price target stayed the same for pretty much across the board. Average went up to 26.6, but you can see the other ones as well on that one. As far as miners being installed here, we have, or at least I included these 200 terahash miners, 250 exahash, 250 petahash, and then 600 petahash here as well. And that got us to the 21.2 exahash that they are at right now. They were operating for approximately 28.8 days. The new ones that got installed have on average of about 20 days. Don't know exactly when they got installed, so that's kind of what we're using here on that one. Okay, so that's how that all works out. Going up here to my estimates for them, I have them between $15 and $22 using the last 3 quarters and the quarter that we had in June ending. We could possibly update them as well. Current quarter, let's get them updated to the latest quarter here, which is going to be down here. And I need to do something really quick. It's here, Control C. Okay, they're going to be about approximately 93. So, I mean, we're still early in August and September. Things can change. Bitcoin could go down or it could go up on that one. So based on that, I'm in between 1454, 2181. They're at $16, actually less than that right now. What are they at? Possibly Cleanspark is at, let's see here, 1154. Yeah, so at that point, 1154, they would be undervalued right now based on that. And then we're looking at the last month revenue for them times 12. I'm in between 1632 and 2448. So that is higher than what they were prior on that one. Okay. So that's it for Cleanspark. No complaints for Cleanspark. No complaints for Cipher either. They're both growing, which is nice to see here. And I think they're doing all the right things that they need to do. All right. next here, let's take a look at Hive really quick, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A side of things here. So Hive Digital announced 116 Bitcoin produced in July 2024. HODL grew 2% to 2,533 Bitcoins. And then here's what we have, 160 Bitcoin mined, so it's actually a little bit less than what they mined in June. They ended July with 4.9 exahash, so that's actually down a little bit from where they were in June as well. But they did increase their HODL here to 2,533. And that's basically it. They talk about the purchases that they made here of the miners. I think it's like 9,500 miners that they purchased. And 8,400 of those have been installed in our facilities in New Brunswick and Sweden. Remaining 1,110 A6, or sorry, 1,100 A6 miners expected to be installed this week. So that's going to be growing there. This will bring our total installed Bitcoin mining capacity to 5.5. So I think they've been unplugging and plugging in newer machines as well. And that one. Yeah, so that's it for that. Let's take a look at Hive here really quick. So Hive has about 106 million shares outstanding. Stock price, this is old. Don't go by this. I should have updated this. My apologies. Market cap 385, so it's going to be lower now than it is. Performance over the last 12 weeks has been pretty good here. 56% up from 12 weeks ago, 51 from 8 weeks ago, 23% from 4 weeks ago, and then last week, which isn't actually last week, it was the week prior, they were up 8.24. I expect them to be down like all the other miners here are. Current hash rate, why is that showing me 0? It shouldn't be showing me 0. Oh, I forgot to update this. Okay. It's been a crazy weekend here. Family's finally back from Europe, and I'm trying to finish up the remodeling of the kitchen here. So trying to do a lot of things, and then I was working on this for the last 2 hours before doing the live stream, trying to get all of this stuff updated, and I missed something here in Hive, it looks like. Let's see. Okay. There we go. So that should be it. So they do have still a little bit of growth here. They are planning to grow more into next year as well. They're trying to get to like 12 exahash sometime next year. We don't know exactly when. Through the site that they got in Paraguay. That's a good thing here. I like that they're growing here. I would like to see them be a little bit more, excuse me, a little bit more aggressive, I guess you could say, in their growth projections. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. My throat was getting dry. HODL position also has been increasing nicely here. They're at 2,133. That's valued about 158. Probably down now, like everything else is. What else we got here? Oh, HODL market cap. 41% of their HODL is valued in their market cap. So that's kind of interesting there. So that leads me to believe that they're not being valued more. They're being valued more on their HODL than they are being valued on their operation side of things. Okay, Bitcoin production here has been kind of flat over the last couple months. 119 in May, 119 in June, 116. So they're down a little bit here, not much, but down a little bit. Mining revenue has also been kind of coming down here, which we would like to see that to improve going forward, which I would expect that to happen if they can get to the 5.something exahash that they're planning to get to once all the miners are installed. Bitcoin HODL, like I said, they bottomed out in November with 1,627, and that has been increasing here steadily over the last, what has it been, 10 months or something like that, to July 2,533, which is good. Hash rate growth, we talked about that as well. That's down a little bit here, not much, but it is down a little bit. Monthly Bitcoin sold, that's basically on average what they've been selling here the last couple of months here. 79 is what they sold. BTC per exahash efficiency also increased a little bit here to 23.36. Bitcoin sold value, how much they sold. Going down here to institutions. Institutions did actually decrease here a little bit to 133. And shares increased to 40,160,000. Percentage also increased to 34.68. And then they still have 3 buy ratings, 1 hold rating, price target 652. So that's actually down from where it was. The average went up to 563, and the low actually went up also to $4. Based on that, what they were saying that they are installing miners, I did take out these 100 terahash miners here potentially being taken out for making room on some of these newer 200 terahash miners here, which I added as well. Or no, I didn't add. I just took out that to get us to the 4.9 right now. Okay, so they were mining for approximately 30.23 days out of the month here, roughly. So that's actually pretty good there for them. I also had 182,000 for their numbers for, oh gosh, transaction fees. Sorry, drawing a blank here. Didn't want to do that. Okay, go back up here. Based on the last 3 quarters, and we can get this updated as well. Let's see what we're looking at here. We are looking at this number here, that one there, and then the current quarter that we're in. Let's see if we can get that updated as well. And I need to go back down here and do that as well. Okay. All right. So at this point, they're at, what are they at right now? Hive is at 299. Okay. Or at least when Penny took that screenshot, 299. So they are having between 543 and 815 in the last 12 months roughly. So they would be undervalued here. And then if we look at the forward numbers between 412 and 618, so they would still be undervalued in my opinion, based on those things. With Hive, they have great operations, great uptime, really good management as well, really solid balance sheet also. The only thing for me with them is they're not as aggressive for their growth. They don't want to be the top 5 miner. They're happy with being only at 1% of the Bitcoin network. That's the only gripe that I have against Hive here. But I think they're a really great run company. But yeah, that is it. All right. Excuse me. I will update the pricing that I have here as of Friday. I won't have the overnight pricing on these guys, but I will get this updated for you guys and before I upload it to Patreon later on tonight as well. So I'll get that done. That should be pretty easy and quick to do. All right, so that's it. Sales pitch as always. Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets, and those get updated pretty much daily when I do videos and things like that. And then that's $8 a month. If you pay the annual subscription, it's 10% off on that, and you might be able to find a couple spots that are still open in the $5 or $4 range. Grab those up if you can. It's a nice discount for you there. And you get access to the Discord server as well, which is our private server. So that is it. Sales pitch is over with. Let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things. I'm sure you guys have some questions here. So there we go. Sorry. Okay. About to go through. What are we at here? Not too bad. 32 minutes in. So we got plenty of time, I think, for some Q&A stuff. See what you guys have to say. Let's see here. I'm going to look through some of the questions here, hopefully. Let's see. All right. I'm just going to start someplace here. If I miss your question, go ahead and retype your question in again. IREN to 120 by next year. Bitcoin would have to be probably north of 200,000 at that point, I think, in order for that to happen. My original target for them was $80. That was conservative. Bitcoin reaching to like 150,000, maybe 180,000 at that point. Let's see. Okay, you guys are talking between yourselves here. Let's see. Do you think Bitfarms will go to 4 before shareholder votes? I would hope so. It would be nice. It would make it a lot less appealing for Riot to possibly buy them out, even with a hostile takeover. They would need to pay a premium on it. And at that point, you're looking at it, 25% premium? So you're looking at like maybe $5 having to pay for it. So I would hope so. We'll see what Bitcoin does, what the markets do, and everything else. Okay. Which are you buying more, Bitfarms or IREN, and which has more? I'm guessing upside potential. Right now, let's take a look at both of those guys here really quick here before we get too ahead of ourselves here. So let's see here. Bitfarms, let's go back to the screen here. Bitfarms, if it's under $1 right now, based on where I'm thinking it could go to, we're looking still possibly like an 8x on it, if not a little bit more. These are conservative numbers, and then IREN is at $8 here. That would almost be like a 8 to 10x on it as well. So, they're getting close to being where I see them being fairly undervalued right now. So that's why I've been buying, actually. I bought $1,000 of Bitfarms, $1,000 of IREN last week. I may do the same thing tomorrow. Maybe I'll put in a little bit more. We'll see. I'll have to look through my account, see what I can do there. But I am looking to buy more of those two guys. Cleanspark has also come down quite a bit here at 13. My average on Cleanspark is like $3 something. So let me see here. $13, I think it's going to go to $70 roughly. At that point, we're looking at, what is that? Let's see here. A 5x would have been like around $80, right? Yeah. So maybe between a 4 and 8, between a 4 and 5 and X on that one, maybe even higher. But yeah, I'm looking to get into Bitfarms and IREN here a little bit more. And I'm going evenly with the dollar value amount. The share is going to be different, but the dollar amount is going to be the same for them. Okay. How about Riot? This has to be way undervalued after tomorrow. Any interest? Well, let's take a look at Riot. Let's see, Riot's at 857. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you think it can get to, gosh, I don't know. I think that one's probably got at least a 6 to 8x on top of it, where it's at right now, somewhere around there. If Bitcoin reverses and everything else is doing much better. But yeah, man, look at this thing. This thing is coming way back down. I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of fear in the market. Are we being manipulated, by the big dogs here a little bit? Maybe. They're trying to shake everybody out of the market, basically. Maybe the bears. I mean, the bears are probably having a field day right now. The bulls are whining right now in their stalls. We'll see how we act tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin reversal tomorrow or in a few days or longer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We had a nice little reversal here. I mean, we're still down quite a bit. It's tough to say. We'll have to see how it goes. I'm not sure exactly. I'd give it a couple of days maybe. Let's see. Patrick says, bought more 5,000 worth of BTC at 54 today. My next big buy point will be 51K. I think 51K is like the support line there. If we look at it here really quick. Here it is. Let's see, 53, and then we might be going down to, where'd it go? Yeah, 51K is our next support line. If 53.7 doesn't hold, somewhere around there, 53.750 doesn't hold, then we might be going down to 51K. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. Fragmented World asks, is there a place where I can see the pre-market miner prices? I mean, I've looked on my Webull app. That doesn't have it. I've looked on, what else did I look on? I looked on Yahoo Finance. I didn't see it there. I got to ask Penny where he's getting that data from. I'd love to see that pre-market data. So if I do find out, I will let you guys know what that is. Let's see. Hi, Sebastian. A question. Why did Hive jump up 18% on Friday after hours? I'm not sure why that jumped up after hours. Was there any news release that came out or anything else? I think maybe it was just because they reported the monthly numbers so quickly, which is unlike them. Usually they're out 7 to 10 days out after the new month starts. So that was kind of surprised. I was surprised by that. So kudos to Hive and their team for getting that stuff out relatively quickly. I'd like to see that happen each month going forward. Hi, Seb. Which miners get priced out bankrupt? At this point, at 50-some thousand with Bitcoin, I mean, that's tough. I still think the ones that don't own any infrastructure, those guys are going to have a harder time. So we're looking at any Sphere 3D. Any and Argo are like the ones that I'm thinking that might go belly up because they don't own any infrastructure. They only host everything, and they have older machines as well. That might be a tough one there. Stronghold is another one that's... Stronghold has already mentioned that they are looking to get bought out potentially. I don't know if there's anybody looking to buy out Stronghold, though. Let's see. Is Bitfarms really tanking more tomorrow given Bitcoin price? What will be your forecast for Bitfarms for September? Oh, guys, for September. I mean, that all depends on where Bitcoin goes. Who knows where we're going to end up at. I'm typically pretty optimistic. I'm still trying to be optimistic on it. I think there's just a lot of bad news in the economy recently, and that's driving the prices of the markets down, everything else. I mean, it could be also that we're just in a correction a little bit here, because take a look at this here. If we go over here to like the S&P 500, right? We peaked here just, when was this? In July 16th. And we peaked at, oh, I didn't want that. We peaked at, where do we close at? We've closed at 5,667, right? We had a nice pullback down here. We had the same thing over here where we had a pullback, came down to the simple moving average of 100, and then we bounced off of it. We saw that here on Friday. We may see the same happen here. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones. Dow Jones also peaked here a little bit, went down, came back up. Peaked up a little bit here, went down, came back up, even new peak, new high. We have came down, went back up, and we're coming back down. And it did go below the 100 simple moving day average, and then it bounced off of it. So we might be getting close to that on the Dow Jones. And then we have the Nasdaq Composite. Same thing here. We came down below the 100 simple day moving average, and we bounced off of it, and then came back up higher, right? That went up much higher. We're like 18,600 something. We need a little bit of healthy pullback, I think. We got below it a little bit here. We'll see what tomorrow is like. And then we bounced off. We may bounce off it again. We may come down a little bit more based on the RSI that I'm seeing here, but it's still trending in the upwards direction, I think. Let's see here, where is it? From the top to the bottom was basically a 11% correction here on that one. If we look at the prior one, from the top here to the bottom was approximately 8% or 7%, almost 8% correction on it. So we need those, I think, sometimes to shake people out, reset a little bit, and then possibly go up further. But you got companies out there that are also laying off people. People are freaking out about that. You got unemployment increasing as well. People are freaking out about that. You got other things as well. So it's just like a perfect storm of things that would drive the market down potentially even more. We'll see where we end up at. I think this is just a correction that we're in. Eventually we'll go back up. I just don't know exactly when and how fast. But I could be wrong on that, right? Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody is 100% right all the time. Let's see. Okay. Sorry, just joined. Are you buying the dip? I will be buying tomorrow. I just don't know exactly how much, but I will be buying. I bought last week, Thursday or Friday. I can't remember. I have to look back at my data. So I'll be buying again. Have you taken any profits throughout 2023, 2024? I have not. I did only take out the initial investment that I put into Cleanspark, moved that over into IREN because I wanted to buy more because I saw them as being more undervalued and potentially more upside. But that's the only thing that I did there. Is institutional ETF flows the main driver of BTC prices this cycle rather than the leveraged hedge funds? Can you cover ETF flows in your stream? Yeah, I can cover those. If you guys are really interested in it, let me know. But a lot of people already get the information on Twitter, on that side of things. We have great people covering that already. So I'll see if there's a lot of interest in that. Maybe I will. Let's see. Can't wait to monetize my NVIDIA puts to go shop in miners. So there you go. What else we got here? Which will have more upside, Core Scientific when they finish building out the infrastructure for CoreWeave or Bitfarms to 21 exahash, assuming Bitcoin at 65,000. Well, if you're assuming Bitcoin's going to stay at 65,000 next year, then probably Core Scientific at that point will probably have more upside potential. And they might be the only ones. All other miners are going to be in trouble if that happens. Let's see. Will you add Wolf Cipher around this price or a bit below? Thanks. I'm not adding them. They're not one of the ones that I'm looking forward to get. Let's take a look at them. Wolf and Cipher. Wolf has had a huge run up here recently. I think it got overextended. I mean, you can see it was at 651. It's having I think a really, really healthy pullback here, but I think it has a little bit more room to run maybe down below on the daily here. RSI, let's see here. Daily RSI has been kind of bottoming out over here, it seems like. So we might have a bounce here. We'll see where Bitcoin goes. I think that's going to be indicative of that. Cipher at 433 also. I mean, it went up to almost $8 here. It's having a pullback as well. RSI is at the same spot. It was back here, which was much lower. It was at $3 something. It's probably going to be $3 something anyways tomorrow morning when markets open. But I think if you're in them and you believe them and you have conviction in these stocks, I think these prices are pretty good if you can get into them, dollar cost average into them. Okay, let's go back here. Para says, stay away from Riot just because of management. This is financial advice. That's a tough one there. Excuse me. What do we got here? Okay. No news on Cipher buyout yet. Yeah, I haven't heard anything else on it. What else? Question. Hello, Seb. When is Riot reporting their July update? I'm guessing it's probably going to be either tomorrow or Tuesday. They're usually like 2 to 3 days out after the new month. Sam asks here, hey Seb, hi Seb, is this a time for DCA or to wait? Are we still in a bull market or things have changed due to the recession? Well, we're not really in a recession yet. Typically, a recession is defined as at least 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. We don't have that yet. And there's other things that go into it. Consumer spending, unemployment. Unemployment is down, yes, or unemployment is up. Okay, so that's one. You also have consumer spending being down a little bit here. Okay, but it's not down that much. And then we need negative 2 quarters of GDP. We don't have that yet. So I don't think we're in a recession yet. I think we're just in a correction right now. I could be wrong on this. Like I said before, if you guys are in profits, take profits. There's no shame in taking profits. If you're in profits, you're making money, do that. All right. I'm in profit as well right now. I still think we're, like I said, just in a correction. Things will reverse. I could be wrong on that. I'm okay if I lose money. I don't want you guys to lose money on that side of things. The price prediction of Bitfarms, IREN, Hive, Digital at 100,000 BTC. Depending on the time frame that we're looking at, is it by the end of the year? If it's by the end of the year, you're looking at possibly them being, I won't give you numbers, but I can give you like at least like a 3 to 5x on those. I think that's where they would go. Bitcoin at that point would be like a 2x from where it is right now. So the miners should do at least a 3x, I would believe, at that point. So that's kind of the way I would look at it. Let's see. Hi, Seb, given your price target of IREN of 80 versus Cleanspark, clearly higher X for IREN, why do you not, buy more bulk of Cleanspark or not move bulk of your Cleanspark to IREN given highest forward-looking performance, i.e. buying prices doesn't matter now? Yeah, that's a good question there. Just because Cleanspark, I have it at like $3 or something and change on average for my shares. So I'm way up now, and even if it goes up to where I think it's going to go to 70, it's going to be up, a lot more X multiple than what IREN would be for me. That's the way I look at it. Had I bought IREN and Cleanspark at the same time, then yeah, it probably would make more sense to get into more IREN, right? Let's see. P says historically August and specifically September are bad months for BTC, so this may continue till then. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe like towards October, November timeframes when we might actually do pretty well. In the meantime, I thought we are going to be trading sideways, and that's kind of why I drew the triangle here, which kind of looked to coincide with what I was seeing here on it. If we go back here on Bitcoin, right, the triangle ends here that we might be going sideways until like November sometime. But we'll have to redraw that now, and we might be actually extending that out a little bit more. Well, let's redraw that. See, we're looking at like possibly next year sometime if this holds up this way. If we just, trade in this triangle here, we'll have to see. Okay. Some are comparing this to March 2020 BTC GPT cut in half, and 3 months later it recovered and went up 50% from pre-drop. It does have some similarities to it. Bitcoin's down right now, 30% from the high here? Somewhere around there. It's definitely more of a drop than we've seen in the past. If we look at it, at least in the last 12 months or so. Anytime Bitcoin has dropped in the past year, we were down like 20% before we went back up. And this time around, we're from the top. If you just look at the top here, on that one right here to the bottom, we're down almost 30%, 28.8% roughly. Now where we are right now, it's 26%. Prior to that, if you look at the prior drops on it, where we were from here to here, and then from here to here was like around 20%, 23%, something like that. So it hasn't been that big of a drop here. We haven't seen that for a while here. And this might be the shakeout that we've been waiting on, maybe the correction that we've been waiting out, and then do we go back up higher? That's kind of the thought process there, but we'll see. Okay. see. Para says kind of looks like we're ranging on the weekly. Could be interrupted as a bull flag from a TA perspective. 22 weeks in and usually plays out after 28 weeks. Would align with September FOMC. Okay, interesting there. Yeah, that might make sense. Let's see. Is Bitcoin down due to Genesis payout? Looks like they moved 2 billion. But 2 billion still just, I mean, that's what? 2 billion is what? 2% of the, even less than that probably, because Bitcoin's market cap is over 1 trillion here. So it's less than probably 2% of coins being moved here. Shouldn't really have that huge of an impact. I could be wrong. Would you convert Riot into IREN? Depending when you got into Riot, if you got in at really low pricing, maybe not. If you got in at a little bit higher pricing, yeah, might make sense then. I mean, the only thing that Riot has negative against them right now is their uptime, operations, things like that. We need to see much better operations and uptime in July. If they can improve those things, maybe at that point the stock would take off. Also, it might be that some shareholders are not for the Bitfarms takeover. I don't know if that's having an impact on it. It seems like it, because all the other miners have been doing pretty well, while Riot has not been doing that great in the last 12 years, or 12 months at least. If you had to guess, would Bitfarms earnings be decent? Well, let's take a look at Bitfarms here really quick. My numbers here, Bitfarms for, let's see here. For June number, we were at 40 million estimated right now. In Q1, they came in at 49 million, so that's what, roughly 9.3 million in decrease on that. And then they do hodl a little bit, so that shouldn't have a huge impact on them. And then let's see here, did they increase? I mean, they did increase towards the end of June. They did increase their hash rate here, but not a lot of increase here prior to that. They were at 6.4. I mean, there was an increase here. 6.99 is where they were in April. And then let's see here. It's going to be close. I don't expect it to be tragic or anything like that. I expect them to be, let's see, what were they? Positive EPS in Q1? I can't remember now here. They were 2 cents negative. Basically diluted. That's including the depreciation and everything else. If you take out depreciation, then you're looking at 15 cents per share on it. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be close. We'll see how that works out. They might be negative here based on that. We'll see. But still not as bad as some of the other companies that are getting a lot higher or lower earnings per share, negative earnings per share on it. Do you think Jason will accelerate his move to 19.9% of Bitfarms with the sell-off? Would you? Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to buy them out, you got a nice sale going on right now. You might as well take advantage of it. Buy them at a much lower price. My 2 cents here, but I thought the Fed did not raise rates because the job market was still strong. So one job reports that indicates a weaker job market sends everything crashing. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we're seeing here. Yeah, I agree with you. Do you think it's just a correction? I kind of think so. And if that, should I buy more Bitfarms now, and which is possible target at the end of the year, 21 supposed, for if Bitcoin still remains at 70, 80,000. So if it gets to 70, 80,000, I mean, that's still up from where it would be now. At that point, I still think it should be at least $4 to $5 at the very least. If we go to 70,000, we probably could be looking at maybe it's closer to $6. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's the way I'm seeing it right now. It might be a correction. Time will only tell. I could be wrong on that. Hi Seb, can we see 6 to 9 months to clear this dust? First time investor in all my life savings in Bitcoin miners. Yeah. It might be even faster than 6 to 9 months, but I think in the long run, I think in the next 12 to 18 months, I think we'll be doing much better here. My original thought process for a recession would not be until sometime towards the end of the next year, possibly in 2026. So we'll see. But I'm still optimistically bullish on the miners here going forward. Unless really things change and we start seeing that we are getting, negative GDP per quarter, then I start getting concerned. Chow says, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name right. Everything's crashing, not just yet. Everything's crashing down. Mark says most miners will bounce faster than tech. Yes, they will. They usually do. What is your average price bought into Bitfarms and IREN? Bitfarms is like not $2, $1.60 something, and then IREN is now close to $7, I think. Sean asks, hey Sebastian, just tuned in on the cliff notes of this dip. We still bullish long term? Long term I still think we're bullish. I think we're just in a correction right now. Until I see something otherwise, I think we're just in a correction. But we'll see. If we get 2 to 4 cuts as big as banks are calling for, and we get a melt up to BTC 95,000, is that still when you will begin to sell, considering 2020 recession is looking more likely? Yeah, I mean, if we start getting to closer to 100,000, I'll probably start selling slowly. I don't know exactly where we're going to end up at. This could be a different cycle. I've talked about this in the past. We've reached a new all-time high in Bitcoin before the halving event. That's never happened. We have more institutions. We got Russia now saying that they're going to use Bitcoin. They're going to allow Bitcoin mining. They're going to allow also Bitcoin to be used as payments. So now it becomes which country is on next. We got, what's the other one that we had? Was it Argentina? Somebody, I can't remember the country. I think it's Argentina. That also has adopted Bitcoin for payments and things like that. So it's just a matter of time before more and more of this happens, and I think that's a good thing for us going forward. Let's see. Okay, Patrick says, I hope to add more Bitfarms, but Canadian market closes tomorrow. Do you guys have a holiday tomorrow? I'm not aware of. I'm not Canadian, so I wouldn't know. The markets are showing anticipation of war with Israel and Iran. Okay. So if they're showing anticipation of that, when it does actually happen, does that make it buy the news event at that point instead of sell the news? Would that happen? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just crazy. We all live on this little blue planet. Why can't we all just get along? I'm starting to think like religion is the evil of everything. Let's see. Nolan says, watch out for CoreWeave and other artificial intelligence companies backed by venture capital to take over Bitcoin miners. While they offered Core Scientific, what was it, like $1 billion, I think at that time, or something, a little bit above that, to buy them out. Core Scientific said no. They would have to pay a premium, I think, for them or anybody else in that matter. And I'm still on the fence on the HPCI side of things, artificial intelligence, because we only have Core Scientific with a huge contract there, and Bit Digital has a nice contract there as well. Everybody else, really small contracts, if anything. Let's see. Ed says, what is happening to Wolf? Is it a repeat to what happened when I first got it? I bought it at peak of December 285, then went down to 135. I'm sure there are people who bought at 630 and now down 50%. Yeah, I mean, it's in general happening across the board, not just Wolf here, but all the miners are down here. So anybody that bought up higher, they're feeling the pinch here a little bit, or quite a bit. The only thing I've learned over the last, I guess you could say, what is it now? Since 2017 to now, so that's 7 years, roughly, being in the space, watching the miners and things like that, is you look at these kind of opportunities sometimes, especially as we are past the halving event. These are buying opportunities, in my opinion. Unless the cycle is completely different and we peaked our high at 73,000 before the halving event. And then we're all in trouble, I think. Eddie says, when did you first start investing, and what are your top advice for younger investors like me? I'm 21 and I feel like an idiot for buying so high in IREN, but I'm still holding. Well, the miners I started investing in 2017. I got Hive at that point, held it through the bull run in 2021 because everybody was saying Bitcoin's going to go to 100,000. Lesson learned by me. I will be selling and taking profits this time around. But the biggest thing I've learned here is be patient, dollar cost averaging if you can, especially in the bear market where we're getting into it out of the bull run. I think that's the best time to buy into it and just buy over a longer period of time. It's not going to happen overnight where you're going to make a lot of money with it. But if you're patient and you dollar cost average in, I think you will do very well in the miners at least. I don't know about some of the other sectors. I think it would apply also to the other sectors as well. If you see a crash on something, that's kind of the time that you want to buy. You don't want to buy when you have green candles. You want to buy on the red candles. So be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are greedy. Let's see. P says market is crashing in Japan. Market is crashing is causing in Japan. They increased the interest rate on loan from 0% to 0.025. So investors are taking investment out and causing liquidity globally. Okay, yeah, I saw that too. Cleanspark earnings are soon. Yes, they're supposed to report. What is it, the 8th, I think? The 8th or the 7th, I can't remember exactly. Any optimistic predictions for earnings on Cleanspark? I think they're going to, well, let's take a look at the numbers again for Cleanspark here. Let me go over here. Where's it at? Okay, Cleanspark. I have them at, let's see. They were in Q1, they were 111 million, which is their Q2, ours, Q3 for them is going to be 104 million. So they're down about, what, 7 million from that? But the big thing is their hodl position. That's going to probably take a hit. So I'm guessing they may be down a little bit on EPS unless they really kept things lean and mean in SG&A, share-based compensation, all that stuff. But it might be a little. It's gonna be tough. We'll see in a couple of days what that actually comes out as. All right. Let's see, Patrick. Market is pricing recession due to Sahm rule is triggered last Friday. Plus, Japan Central Bank increased its rate. IREN and Israel tension. It seems like all the bad news coming together. Yeah, we talked about the Sahm rule here in the beginning of the video. Even this lady Sahm, the person that did it, that created the Sahm rule, says here. Where's it at? Here it is. So we talked about this. Sahm herself told the Wall Street. Oh, you guys can't see this. You guys are seeing me. Sahm herself told the Wall Street Journal that she actually doesn't think the economy is in a recession. Changes in labor supply after the pandemic and the recent jump in the immigration has diminished its usefulness, she says. So take that for what it's worth. Even when the creator is not for it, that's a pretty good, big sign there. So just be wary of that, right? Going back here. P says this is a shakeout, which will be known as a fake out after we rip. Could be, right? That's kind of what I'm hoping that's going to be. Do you think there's a chance Bitfarms could do a reverse split? Please say no. Ben was asked about this, and he was asked by, I think Anthony asked him on one of his videos. And Ben has said they had the option to do a reverse split only because of the NASDAQ pricing rule, right, where the stock has to be above $1. If it falls below it, they have like 180 days to get it above $1. If they can't, they can then do the reverse split. But he said right now the reverse split is off the table. And you're seeing a lot of the other miners catching up to the number of shares that they have. A lot of companies are getting above 300 million shares right now. So they're catching up to where Bitfarms is with number of share counts. Said, when does IREN usually release their monthly update? And did you get a chance to look at it, Bitfufu? I've not got a chance to Bitfufu. It is still on my to-do list here. I will prove it to you. I don't know if you can see that, but it is the top one. I still have to look at it, or second one actually, that I have to look at it here. I've just been busy with the remodel upstairs with the kitchen and then family coming back last Friday. But I will get into it. And then when does IREN report? They usually report like within a couple of days, 2 to 3 days after the first of the month. Do you think Bitcoin will go back to 70,000 this month? I mean, we're only 4 days in. Anything's possible, but the amount of days left, yeah. P says BTC is not going to 70K till October. That'd be a long time. I think we might be bouncing here. We might get to 70,000, go back down, go back up, come back down. We'll see. Sebastian, what miner would you buy right now? IREN or Bitfarms or something else? I'm planning to buy some more Bitfarms and IREN right now. If I didn't have any shares in anybody, it would be probably between those two right now, along with Core maybe. I would look into that. Let's see. Joe Doc says El Salvador, so that's regarding the country that also is using Bitcoin as a payment. Thank you for that correction. BTC there. A piece says BTC 30% is pretty normal. Yeah. What you think BTC will back to 20K this December? I don't think that. No, I don't think it's gonna come back down that low. Do you think cutting interest rates will fix the U.S. debts and save the market, or is it a temporary relief for a longer issue later in the year? I think it will. I think it might fix a little bit of the economy. I mean, housing. If you look at housing for like a 30-year mortgage right now, it is like 6-7% or something like that interest rate. That's high. That's kind of what I paid for my first mortgage that I got. This is going back now. What is it? 22 years back. It was around. I had a 7.25% interest rate at that point, and now I'm locked in at like under 3. I'm 2 something right now. So it's really low for me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving. That's why we're doing the model. But I think the high interest rate is with the pricing going up. Also, the inflation has caused a lot of people not to get into housing because it's just so doggone expensive now with the interest rates. On top of the inflation, the housing market, and all that, if we lower the interest rates, I think it becomes more appealing. And then you might see people selling and people buying, and that's going to spur the economy going forward. So I think in that regard, it might be good. Do you plan selling anything tomorrow? No, I don't. I'm looking to buy the dips. When can we see your dog? She's actually not up down here with me today. My wife's back, so she's up there with my wife, sitting on the couch. When I was by myself, she was down here always, for the last month at least. Sebastian, what's your workout split? Looking good. Amigo, thank you. I don't work out. I have a fast metabolism as it is. I've always been blessed with just being able to burn calories like crazy. I am starting to get a little of a dead belly. Because I'm getting old. I'm at 46 years old, so it's not burning as fast as it used to. So I may have to do something about it. What are you getting on Monday? I'm looking to buy some more Bitfarms and IREN. They said in the past there is a correlation between BTC and gold, but gold is up and BTC 8% down at the moment. What are your thoughts? There's really hasn't been a correlation. If you look at gold over the last 10 years and you look at Bitcoin, what's that done, right? Gold is up maybe 10, 15, 20% from 10 years ago. Gold and Bitcoin's up how many thousands of percentage points? There's no correlation between Bitcoin and gold. How much money have you invested in Bitfarms? Just an estimate, 100,000? No, not that much. It's, gosh, I would have to look back into my numbers, but it's like around close to 30,000, somewhere around there. Let's see. Ann says, oh my God, Bitcoin just opened at 54,385. Yeah, it's been a rough day. Let's see where we're at right now. We're getting close to our support line here on it. I think we'll call it a day. I think we got through all your guys' questions here. I'll check in a second here. But we can see here that Bitcoin is coming back down a little bit here. It is at that reset. Our support line is at 53,750 roughly. Bitcoin's at right now 54,111. So we are getting close to that. We'll see if we can hold this line. I'd like to see us hold this 53,000 line. We did it back here where we came down to it, fell a little bit below it, bounced off of it. If we don't hold that, we're going down to 51,000. If we don't hold that, then we're going down to like 47,000 at that point. Which I'm going to have to find some more cash to buy more stocks, because it's just going to be, unless everything's going to hell in a handbasket, U.S. economy, the world in general, then I think we got bigger problems to worry than what our stocks are doing right now. Yeah. Let's see. Got here a little late. Do you think we already had our big drop in the mining stocks, or are we still having a big drop tomorrow? Based on what Penny was showing us here, let me see if I can pull that up again. Penny Ether, if you guys follow him on Twitter, great individual. And he posted this, this was probably about an hour ago. You can see the miners were all down pre-market. We'll see where they end up tomorrow morning on that side of things. But I expect them to be down if Bitcoin stays down here in these levels right now on it as it is. When I buy the dip on ETH, Ethereum ETF, Ethereum is down 25%. I own ETH, but I was getting ETH at a much, much lower price point at that point. I'm still up on it, so I'm going to continue to hold that one like I hold Bitcoin right now. Let's see where it goes. I bought some Bitfarms, Wolf, and IREN the other day, and am down atrocious. Yeah, everybody's down from last week. Whatever you bought last week, you're going to be down on these guys here. The only thing I can say is be patient and possibly dollar cost average into it. Not financial advice as always, but that's kind of what I'm doing here tomorrow. So I'm going to be buying more IREN, more Bitfarms, as well as we have a pretty good sale here right now. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be back in the green in the next couple of days. You may have to be in there for a little bit longer than that in the next 12 to 18 months, possibly. Let's see. Dip to 52.3. That liquidated some of the leverage longs. Waking up tomorrow to wreck some over-leveraged, overconfident shorts. Okay. Yeah, we've seen that happen before plenty of times. And then even bigger drop tomorrow because BTC is down on the miners. Yeah. All right, guys. We've been going at it for an hour and 11 minutes. We'll call it a day. It's late. I got to get the spreadsheets updated and everything else. But overall, we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think this is just a correction. I could be wrong on that. But everything that I'm seeing here just kind of points to a correction right now, at least. I'm hoping that we don't get a recession anytime soon here within the next couple of months. I'm thinking maybe towards the end of 2025 into 2026, if at all. Okay, but that just depends on how Fed does with the rate cuts and things like that. I think that's going to be pretty telling going forward here. We'll see. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. All right, tomorrow we'll cover whatever else happens tomorrow as far as Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners. See if any updates are for July for the miners, and then we'll also look at the weekly performance for Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well into that. And then we should be going live tomorrow, hopefully around 9-ish, somewhere around there. Okay, so thank you so much for coming in to watch this. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know it wasn't a great weekend in Bitcoin, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed it outside if you could. We have, in the Northern Hemisphere, we have a couple more months before the weather starts turning to crap on us. All right, so that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night, and see you tomorrow.